Stories that inspire.
My second father.
People that help spread the word of God, the good news.
He is my blessing.
It's a beacon of the light of God.
It gives us a sense of Catholic identity, of who we are as a church.
Positive stories aren't in short supply, but the broadcasting of it is. So right now, Catholics proudly displaying their faith.
As a young woman who's a practicing Catholic, it really helps me feel closer to Mary.
Passing it on to others, watching the good news grow on foot and by sea.
This is who God's called us to be, and we're going to do this in the public square, and you're welcome. Please come.
Here's your daily dose of hope. Get ready to feel good for a change on this special edition of Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. We are proclaiming the good news, the stories of Catholic people and places who are helping spread the faith. And who better to begin this Currents News special than the amazing teachers and staff at Catholic schools across Brooklyn and Queens. While hundreds of 8th graders have said goodbye to their teachers and moved on to bigger things, they'll never forget where they came from. For one student, what started as a struggle is now a success story. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more from St. Catherine of Genoa, St. Therese of Lisieux Catholic Academy in East Flatbush.
Motivating me to do better. My second father.
It's an emotional day for William Del Val.
Okay, I'm going to put this on a hold.
His 8th grade class is graduating.
Being their homeroom teacher, I just saw a lot of them. They were growing.
He's done this 28 times before. Each class leaves their mark. But Leonardo Jones considers him more than just a great teacher.
As a child, we moved away from my dad, so I didn't really have a father figure. And I appreciate him for stepping up as that father figure in my life and helping me improve as a person.
Leonardo came to St. Catherine of Genoa, St. Therese of Lisieux Catholic Academy as a shy 4th grader, new to the country from the Bahamas. He moved with his sister and mom, Michelle.
He came from a broken home, different country, different environment, different academics. It was really challenging for him.
Michelle said Leonardo struggled in class, especially with math. He was used to the British system, but she soon realized his teachers, especially Mr. Del Val, were having more than just a positive impact on his grades.
He is my blessing from God. He came into Leonardo's life. He brought stability. He brought focus.
Leonardo is graduating 3rd in his class with a scholarship to Xaverian High School. Mr. Del Val says Leonardo's faith shines through.
He's been mentoring others, following almost like Jesus' footsteps.
He's one of the main figures that have led me into my relationship with God. He's one of the main reasons why I appreciate God for letting me be here right now.
Leonardo came to the school not knowing where he'd end up. But now, because of the Catholic education and guidance he found here, he knows exactly where he's headed. In East Flatbush, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Catholic school teachers offer more than just moral support. They set up their students for academic success. According to some startling statistics, students across the country are scoring lower in math and reading tests than they have in decades. And in New York City, half of public school students can't read. But Catholic schools are bucking that trend, and one Queens school in particular is soaring above the rest. At Our Lady Queen of Martyrs Catholic Academy in Forest Hills, students have a love of reading that's reflected in their scores. On the English Language Arts State exam of all 4th graders in New York City's public schools, 43.6% are meeting or exceeding the standards set for their grade. At Our Lady of Queen of Martyrs, it's 66.6%. For 6th grade, there was a nearly 37% difference, and for 7th graders, a 30% difference. The Diocese of Brooklyn as a whole outperformed DOE schools in all 3 grades. New York City announced it would be changing its approach to reading instruction, going back to basics and utilizing a phonics-based curriculum. The one Our Lady Queen of Martyrs and the Diocese of Brooklyn never strayed from.
I'm grateful that they are recognizing what we've seen all along. We can adopt new things all the time, but we don't have to leave behind proven strategies.
But with a personalized approach, Catholic schools are not just creating better readers, they're creating kids who love to read. Some of the biggest cheerleaders for students can be grandma and grandpa, but at Good Shepherd Catholic Academy, grandparents are on a mission to give back. The school has a grandparents club designed to support the school and help in any way they can, raising money, collecting donations, and even helping families in need find a communion dress or suit. At graduation, the grandparents club gives a child who exemplifies compassion and kindness a modest scholarship. That's great. Speaking of grandparents, everyone knows there's nothing better than your grandma's cooking. It's warm and comforting and can even work faster than medicine when you're sick. So imagine going to a restaurant where that's all they serve. Well, it's happening on Staten Island. We were there to witness a Nona in action.
Just like at your grandma's house, at Enoteca Maria, you eat whatever they're making. Today, it's zucchini parmesan and fresh cavatelli with sausage. Made with Maria Giolinella's two hands. Her old world upbringing in Avellino, Italy got her here in the modern kitchen of a restaurant with an innovative concept.
I'm the older one in the family, so that's why I make everything for myself. I wash clothes, I do a lot of work.
At Enoteca Maria, they only employ grandmothers. They come on a rotation to cook food from all over the globe. The menu changes every day. Italian is a constant. Sometimes the other cuisine
we changed to Maria and Yumi.
Is from Japan or Azerbaijan or Peru.
A lot of people are missing their grandmothers, and they're missing those times at their grandmother's house and those meals and that interaction. Hi, this is Joe from Enoteca Maria, confirming 6 people at 8 o'clock.
Owner Jody Scaravella says Enoteca Maria was created to be a culinary experience, with every dish stimulating the taste buds and pulling at the heartstrings.
It kind of evokes that walk down memory lane. Usually the people will start talking about their grandmother and the things that she used to make.
Some grandmothers cook every 6 weeks, others only once a year. Maria says she can't stay away. While perfecting her craft in school at a convent in Italy, she came to realize this is her vocation.
It changed a life for me, yes. Just say, oh, thank you, Maria, thank you. You did a good job. I like it.
But Maria doesn't do it for the praise. Like any grandmother, she does it for her family. With her faith folded into every bite. On Staten Island, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Wow, make your reservations. Enoteca Maria is currently looking for other grandmothers to come and cook. If you're interested or you know someone who is, just contact the restaurant at 718-447-2777. Turning now to a beacon of light in downtown Brooklyn. After decades of being out of order, the tower at the Cathedral Basilica of St. James is back, and once again, it's drawing people in.
I always turn on my kitchen light.
This is Isabel Navarro's nightly routine.
And I look.
She looks out her kitchen window, not at the sunset.
The beautiful St. James Tower lit up.
But at her church. There's a light in the tower of the Cathedral Basilica of St. James.
Beautiful, look at.
Isabel works there as a secretary and has been a parishioner there for nearly 50 years and has never seen it lit until now.
It's been so many years when I've seen this light. St. James is a beam right here in Brooklyn.
The cathedral is once again a beacon, but a few months ago, the Mother Church of Brooklyn was lacking a bit of splendor.
There were no lights on any of the buildings, except for 2 lights in the front. The 2 lights there made it look like a police precinct. That's when I realized, yeah, we got to do something about this.
As rector pastor of St. James, Father Brian Patterson has repaired parts of the 200-year-old church himself. But this wasn't as simple as flipping a switch.
Yeah, this is the switch.
The fixtures were burnt out and the circuit breaker was broken. And then there was the issue of getting up there.
To go up into the tower was like scary business. Yep, another floor to go to the heights of the heights.
After months of trying to illuminate the oldest church on Long Island, an electrical company came and got the job done. And now every night at 5 p.m., when Isabel looks out her window, she's reminded, with God, anything is possible.
Maybe that thought in your head or something was bothering you, you look at the light and you say, you know, it's like an inspiration.
Now there's hope the light will bring others closer to faith.
There's lots of people, and I believe that many of them are Catholic, but they haven't come to church. And so maybe that light will say, oh, look what's here.
It's a beacon of the light of God that all of us, sinners, lost, can come to Jesus and be converted.
The light is an invitation to come inside the Cathedral Basilica of St. James and find a home in God. In downtown Brooklyn, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
There's a lot more good news headed your way. A vision of Christ on the boardwalk, how one Christian community is showing their faith for the summer. A tree grows in the Bronx, and it's been growing for a very long time. We'll head to Fordham University to check it out. And a history lesson on the Diocese of Brooklyn. The professor, editor emeritus of the tablet, Ed Wilkinson, will show you his book. Heading to the shore, here's something you have to see this summer. A beach community is bringing Christ to the coast thanks to their new cross-shaped pier. The 500-foot pier is in Ocean Grove, New Jersey, often called God's Square Mile. When the town's original pier was swept away by Hurricane Sandy, the community raised $2 million to rebuild it and decided to make the new pier a cross, a reminder that Christ welcomed everybody.
This is who God's called us to be, and we're going to do this in the public square, and you're welcome. Please come.
The area is owned by the Ocean Grove Camp Meeting Association, a nonprofit established after the end of the Civil War when the Methodist Church put down roots in the small shore town. From a New Jersey beach to the Big Apple's oldest tree, and at 280, that's no small feat. The American elm that stood tall on Fordham University's Rose Hill campus is most likely a century older than the school itself. But just like its Jesuit mission, Currents News' Jessica Easthope tells us efforts to keep the tree alive are rooted in faith.
1936.
Steve Farrelly has seen a lot of trees.
It's still around 78 inches in diameter.
This one is by far his favorite.
I love this tree. This one in particular is really special just because of its size and its history.
Steve is the certified master arborist in charge of keeping this nearly 300-year-old American elm tree healthy. It lives on Fordham University's Rose Hill campus, but this was its home long before there was a school. Ralph Rivera says it's seen every student come and go.
It's a center point when you think of the history of Fordham, or where it started, where it's just all farmlands and new students come, they leave, alumni, but it still keeps, it's very deep rooted within Fordham.
The tree is 140 feet tall and has a canopy spread of 120 feet. Here at Fordham, they say it's the oldest tree on record in New York City. This is a picture of it fully mature in 1864.
Yeah,
The tree has been through a lot over the years, including an outbreak of Dutch elm disease that killed more than 40 million others across the country. But this one survived. Now every other year, Steve treats it with a fungicide to keep it alive.
We drill holes in.
And just like the school's Jesuit mission, care for the tree is rooted in faith.
You know, we stand for sustainability for them, and the Catholic Jesuit school does the same thing.
Cura personalis, right? Care for oneself is care for others. What we put into this, we hope that as a student can lay out here in the shade and just be whole.
The men say they've become stewards of something that was here long before they were, and they're hoping that with their care, it will be here long after they're gone. At Fordham University in the Bronx, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
The Diocese of Metuchen is also moving toward a greener future and caring for God's creation. Immaculata High School in Somerville, New Jersey is the first school in the diocese to go solar, installing 1,228 solar panels on its roof. They're following the lead of Pope Francis, who in his 2015 encyclical Laudato Si, meaning care for our common home, emphasized the role Catholics play in maintaining the health of our earth. Students in Immaculata's hope or Help Our Planet Earth Club say they're proud of this step.
Just seeing the solar panels has given everybody a little bit more awareness of our carbon footprint and what we can do.
We are also taking steps toward being good stewards of how we provide energy.
The conversion to renewable energy sources is also happening at other schools and parishes within the Diocese of Metuchen. At a Catholic school in Queens, students are getting a lesson in the Rosary. It's one of the best known of all the Catholic devotions, but it can take hours and lots of practice, and you can still not quite get it right. Students at St. Francis Prep are realizing that practice makes perfect.
Take a rosary, take a seat. Take a rosary, take a seat.
For many students at St. Francis Prep, this is the first time they've ever held a rosary. If you're new to it, it can be intimidating. Once you make the sign of the cross, you're on your way to saying 67 prayers in total. 53 of them are Hail Marys. It might sound basic, but a lot of people do it wrong.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of sort of particular things that different cultures do, different prayers that people throw in, or some prayers that people leave out. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and
Father
blessed
Ralph
is the fruit
Adel
of
is the
thy
chaplain
womb,
at St.
Jesus.
Francis Prep, and every Thursday during October, the month of Our Lady of the Rosary, he teaches classes about the prayers.
In terms of what goes wrong, sometimes you'll have people who just sometimes think because they've prayed the Hail Mary a million times in their life, they have it down pat. So just teaching them really to have that concentration in the midst of prayer to be able to follow along.
The level of familiarity with the Rosary varies from student to student. Junior Gabriel Harris is just learning.
I was kind of just sort of confused on what the Rosary is, and then obviously I talked to Father Ralph about it, and Father Ralph explained to me exactly what it is, and honestly it makes me feel a lot more comfortable to pray on my own.
The second joyful mystery.
There are 4 mysteries of the Rosary. Each mystery contains 5 moments in the life of Christ and our Blessed Mother, represented by the beads in between each decade.
Oh, sorry. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Senior Emma Bogdan, who's been saying the Rosary since she was little, proves you can still slip up.
You just have to keep trying at it. And as like a young woman who's a practicing Catholic, it really helps me feel closer to Mary.
Father Ralph says once the students get past memorization, all that's left is Mary.
So we're not concentrating necessarily on the words, but hopefully getting to the point where we feel comfortable enough with our Blessed Mother to say, I want to give this Hail Mary to a different intention.
The goal is to show students the beauty of the Rosary is not what happens while you're praying it, but how you live after.
Without end, without end, without end. Amen.
In Fresh Meadows, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
No one said it was easy, but it is worth it. Now that you've had the brief introduction, you can continue to practice your own rosary every day on Net TV. And you can recite it with the Bishop of Brooklyn, Robert Brennan, every day right here on Net at 7 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and once more at 9:30 at night. The Bishop prays with high school students from all over the Diocese of Brooklyn. So don't miss your chance to pray with the Bishop. Plus, you can see the next generation of Catholics put their faith into action. Still to come on Currents News, a snapshot of the past. We'll take a trip down memory lane in the Diocese of Brooklyn with the help of Ed Wilkinson's book. And there have been lots of memories made in these Brooklyn and Queens parishes. We'll take a look at some churches that are celebrating milestone anniversaries. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. We'll be right back. Slipping through time, decades in the diocese caught on camera. Maybe you don't remember them, but now there's a chance to relive it all. Now that we've shown you all the good news the Catholic Church has to offer, how about a look back at some of the stories that have shaped the Diocese of Brooklyn for decades? That's what the Tablet's editor emeritus, Ed Wilkinson, wanted to capture in his first book, Chasing Church News. The award-winning photo book is just a snapshot of the Diocese of Brooklyn's faith in action. Currents News' Jessica Easthope tells us how you can get your hands on the negatives.
Let us pray to the Lord.
Most Sundays, Ed Wilkinson is just another person in the pews at Our Lady of Angels Church in Bay Ridge. He's been a parishioner there for 30 years, but for longer than that, Ed has been a journalist in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Chasing Church News. That's the title of his new book. It chronicles his 50-year career with the tablet newspaper, each picture representing a single moment in one of them.
It gives us a sense of Catholic identity, of who we are as a church. People sometimes forget, they should be proud to say they're Catholic. And when you look at these pictures and you say, well, this is what it's meant to be Catholic for the last 50 years.
On Sunday, Ed signed copies of the book after Mass.
Thank you so much.
Along with purchasing a book, parishioners were able to sign up to be a member of the tablet and part of its mission of covering news from a Catholic perspective.
The church has to be available to evangelize in all different forms of media. And if newspapers are out there, we've got to be involved in it. We've got to be getting our message out there. But there's nothing like the print media.
By joining, readers play an important role in preserving Catholic journalism.
People today are so depressed and they're really overwhelmed by world events, and the tablet keeps everybody together and working towards the good things, that Jesus wanted us to do.
The Tablet and Nuestra Voz are the last Catholic newspapers in New York. Our Lady of Angels pastor, Father Kevin Abels, says supporting them is supporting the church.
We have so much good news to get out to people, and we have to just hold on and make sure that we're supporting the good work of the Tablet.
Ed estimates he's taken hundreds of thousands of photos over the years. His favorite in the book isn't one of well-known church figures like Mother Teresa or Pope St. John Paul II. It's a picture of a young boy drinking water from a fire hydrant on the streets of Williamsburg in the 70s.
It said something about poverty. It said something about thirst and, human need. Every picture has a story behind it.
The pages of Chasing Church News are where church history and Ed's own history collide. In Bay Ridge, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
If you missed one of those book signings, you can still become a part of the Tablet's membership program and get your hands on Chasing Church News. For just $50, you'll not only get the paper sent straight to your mailbox, you can gift a subscription to a friend, plus get access to the Tablet's online content and a quarterly newsletter, and get a commemorative drawstring bag and pin. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Gift $100 and you'll become a sponsor, getting everything we just mentioned, plus a Tablet baseball cap, and be a part of the recognition listing on the paper's website. Contribute $250 and you become a patron, and among the things added to your list of perks are 4 tickets to Tablet Appreciation Night at the Cyclone Stadium and free VIP access to certain diocesan events. For $500, you become a benefactor of the Tablet. You'll get a signed copy of Ed's book and an invitation to the annual Catholic Communications Mass and Reception. And if you give $1,000, you will become a founder. That'll secure you an invitation to the annual Editors Roundtable reception. To see the full list of membership levels and the benefits of each, just go to thetablet.org/become-a-member. And a note for everyone who is already subscribed to the Tablet, good news for the good news. You can upgrade your subscription to get any of these memberships if you want to. And that is this special edition of Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Before we go, just one more piece of good news. Here's a look at some parishes that have celebrated milestone anniversaries this year. Hope to see you again next time.